Hello. Why did you go with the harmony? I was imagining that I was gonna be like, hello. Hello. I don't know why that's what I thought.
Anyway,
Okay.
That's an intro to something, I guess.
Is that it?
Like
Okay.
a quartet.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I say for my YouTube videos. Crap. Okay. Good afternoon.
Good
boys
morning,
and
good afternoon, and good night.
boys and
That's how you
girls.
do it. Boys and girls.
No, that's stupid. You took that from something, didn't you?
No, I'm sure like Red and Link did it or something like that. Wouldn't surprise me.
I don't think that Red and Link.
Oh, good mythical one.
Yeah. You think Red and Link?
Alright, so I'm Daniel. We've got Isaiah.
Moses of the sea. What?
We've got Nathan with us today.
Hello. Oh, no, I'm Isaiah. I'm not Moses of the sea, whatever that is.
Alright.
This is Laser Ducks. We are the Laser Ducks, and you are the Laser Ducks if you are listening, and you are a Laser Duck.
And today we're going to be talking about three
We're pulling hairs off the microphone, and it's making weird sounds. It's making weird sounds.
Let's start. Okay. So we're going to talk about three interesting things today. We're going to start off with...
And we're going to play a game.
Talk about teleportation. We're going to talk about what music really is.
Yes.
And about esports and whether they are sports or not.
Yeah.
All right.
So...
Should crack on. Let's get into it.
I'll explain a little bit more. So this is science, art, and the internet are our main things. But for the science section, teleportation.
Yeah.
What that means, is it possible, is it not possible, what
where are we at this point?
Yeah. How has it been done, has it not been done? And what will that do to people if they're doing it in the way that they say they're doing it, which kind of freaky.
Yeah.
And then
it's a different thing.
As far as what is music, just what defines music. Because everybody has a different opinion of is just noise music if you call it music, yes or no, or, you know.
And then the esports thing is pretty self-explanatory.
Or esports, sports.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's kind of central. If you're the kind of people that we are, I think that's kind of central.
I don't have a whole lot to say about it. I'll try to get some comments in, but these guys apparently have some strong opinions.
Yeah, definitely. Well, maybe not strong, but different opinions.
Yeah. By the way, Isaiah's the American one. Daniel's the British.
Yeah.
British/American one.
Yeah, at this point.
And Nathan's the Irish. The Irish one.
The Scottish one. Yeah.
The Irish one, just to make him upset.
The Irish one. All right, cool. So teleportation.
Yes. So we begin teleportation. Let's just go straight off.
Yeah, for sure. It's an interesting thing to think about because we have in sci-fi movies always thought about
yes
that kind of thing, and that's a central idea in most.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory when they teleport the bar.
Oh yeah, exactly.
The chocolate bar. I think that was the first experience I had with teleportation as a full-grown man, and I come closer. Okay.
Yeah, no.
I'm just saying nonsense, to be honest with you. What?
No, it's interesting though. Like you think about. I didn't ever watch Star Trek when I was a kid.
Star Trek.
Yeah, Star Trek. I feel like
were you
that's
not allowed to
like,
watch Star Trek?
No, I just wasn't. I was too it was an old show. They've redone it recently, in some
With
movies
the
and stuff.
movies.
But the TV shows, yeah, exactly. So
I watched some of it at the McCaig's house when I was a little kid.
Do you like it?
Yeah,
It's kinda
I prefer Star Wars. I'm a Star Wars
exactly.
guy. But it's interesting because they deal with a lot of stuff that we're talking about as far as theoretical physics. They talk about that actual stuff. Whereas Star Wars is fun, cooler to watch, but they don't really bring into play that much of the actual science that
behind what
they're
they're doing.
Sorry, I'm moving a chair.
Yeah, but so Star Trek, I don't know for this for sure because I haven't watched it, but I feel like it was probably one of the first things that was really big where they used teleportation.
It definitely
beam me
was.
up,
Well, did they? Star
that
Trek.
whole thing,
Yeah.
Beam me up. Scotty, beam me up. I think is the phrase, and people still use that. Right?
But now we should talk about what is beaming somebody up. What is to teleport?
Yeah.
I think you know what. You guys talk, and I'm gonna get the definition.
All right, cool. So I think from what I would assume is it's just moving something from one place to another without actually moving. With just the atoms being in one place and then bam, immediately being in the other place.
Because I would be talking.
You can move something in a car, but it's not teleported.
Sometimes I talk about teleportation to people, and they're like, "Well, so teleportation is just getting things to go at light speed to go move it." And it's like, no, in my perspective, that's not what it is. It's just bam, it's there. It's not that you actually move through the space in between.
Yeah, exactly. There's a scene in one of the newer movies of Star Trek where someone's in a volcano. I think it's Spock, and he's in the volcano about to die, and then he's in the ship immediately. Right? There's no you don't see him his particles floating up into the sky. He just is.
I think
moving.
you do though in Star Trek. I think you see some light, yellow the light,
and it flows
it's
up.
Bzz, I think it is that.
Maybe.
So, but okay, the definition as far as Wikipedia goes, the definition of teleportation is the hypothetical transfer of matter or energy from one point to another, without traversing the physical space between them.
Yeah.
It is a common subject in science fiction, literature, film, video games, and television. Okay, so it's exactly what
we're saying.
we just said. Yeah. So it's moving from one place to another without actually ever being in any of the space between. It's just bam and then
one into the other.
So I don't know if beaming people up in Star Trek is
actually teleportation.
Let me do a quick Google search.
But it's interesting because they talk about, like, I remember watching some random documentary, and they were talking about how they had tried to teleport photons. Mm-hmm. So they had them in a lab, and they were moving them down to like the ocean or something. It was a very like strange thing, but they'd done it. They'd somehow been able to move it without, and they had like sensors all the way between the two places, and it wasn't in any of the places in between. It was in the lab, and then it was by the ocean or something random like that. But they'd moved it just from one place to the next, and it was there. And so it's kind of interesting to see whether you could do that on a larger scale, because the photon is like tiny, I think, and so
it looks like it looks like in Star Trek when they're talking about Scotty beaming people up, it looks like they're never referring to it as teleportation as far as I can see. It looks like it's always called just beaming somebody up or down or somewhere else or transporting them. I think they may use the word teleportation in Star Trek, but not for that.
Very interesting. So I guess they knew, like, maybe they didn't want to touch on it.
Yeah. Because like if you look at pictures of people being beamed up and down places, okay, so that's not what I was imagining actually. This is the old version, and they just kind of particles of them just like. But I feel like I remember in the newer movies. Like, yeah, look at this. Wait, no, that's not what I. Oh yeah, look. This is what happens. Yeah, it's like lines of light. So, and I think sometimes you see them coming out of the ship and down to planets. I feel like I remember that in the show.
Yeah, maybe.
So that is them moving through. Is somebody just knocking on the door?
Nah, it's the next door.
Oh, that is them moving through space. We'll just cut this out. Where are they going?
Don't know.
Okay.
You're the one that's supposed to know.
Yeah. I'm asking where my friends are at my house, where my parents are going.
We could probably leave that in. Actually.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. Okay. Anyways,
but the whole light particle moving thing.
We've talked about this
copying
before. Isn't it just copying it and replacing it somewhere else with the exact same whatever kind of?
I think that's how they did it. I think they destroyed the first one. They read they scanned it. Destroyed it and then recreated it in the next place, and it was the same thing, right? And
what are you saying they were teleporting? Photons?
Photons, I think. So it's like you are teleporting it because it's exactly the same on the other side, but what does that really mean? And like we can talk about that with people, right? What does it really mean to teleport someone if you're just destroying?
And has anyone claimed to actually do this
with a photon? Or with a person?
I think it's with quantum particles.
Okay, not even like so tiny.
Aren't photons quantum particles?
They might be.
So it is like a legitimate thing that people think could happen.
Yeah, well
they're doing it
on the very the smallest scale possible.
Yeah, so
they're doing it, but
to do it with a person or an object and to keep it intact is a different story.
Yeah, and I think in the same documentary, I think it was talking about how you would have to take every single piece of the person and scan the person through and through, and so that you had an exact copy, and then recreate it on the other side.
I think a photon is a quantum particle. Is what I'm saying.
Nice. Okay, so that makes sense then. They're just using light, the moving light, but from one place to another.
Yeah, and without it moving through that space.
Yeah, just jumping basically.
So, but where people are talking about now, if we're talking about teleporting people, the main way that people are trying to talk about doing this is by having a machine that when you enter the machine, your body gets, scanned in a way that all the information of where all your atoms are is remembered. Then your body is destroyed, and your body is recreated in another place with the exact same atoms in the same place. So technically, you're making another version of you. But this is where I think all of us find a weird issue with this, and we've talked about this before. What about your consciousness? And if you're talking spirituality, which I'm not necessarily am, but even just your consciousness, if you're talking spiritually, if you want to look at it in spiritual light, where does your soul go? You could ask that question. For me, it's more like if it's like imagine, because we're all conscious right now.
Yeah, it's not just a brain. There's a difference between.
Yeah, so if you recreate yourself somewhere else, it's gonna be you, or at least it's gonna think it's you, and that's what's kind of scary. The thing that you're creating is gonna think that it's you because it'll have the same memories. So you can't.
So it's like have you seen that? We watched that show, right? With the what's it called?
Was it a Black Mirror episode?
No, it was that episode, the new series on Netflix with the Ant-Man guy.
Oh yeah, what
and
is
he
that
gets
called?
recreated, and there's 2 of him.
Yeah, what is
Right?
that? Oh wait,
Anyway, that show.
Living with Yourself.
Living with yourself. That's kind of what would happen, right?
Paul Rudd.
It's as if that happened, but then they kept both of the people.
That
right?
is kind
and
of
so
what
they
it is.
both think that they have the same wife, and they both think that they have the same job, and they both think that they went to the spa, and like you'd think the exact same things, but one of you is the original, and one of you is the one that got copied.
Yeah.
But it's not. Yeah, it's kind of complicated when it gets to like your consciousness and your soul and what that means, and whether that can be replicated just by replicating your atoms. Is that a fully biological thing?
I think the only way,
or is it more than that?
the only way that you could do that is by when you step into the first machine, your consciousness gets downloaded into a digital form to where you're still conscious, and you're conscious all the way through the process. Because I feel like if your body gets destroyed and you're recreated somewhere else, and there's nothing is done with your actual mind, like your consciousness part of your mind, you'll just die. Like you yourself will die.
Your body.
Because it's like when you forget, if you lose all your memory, the person you were before is basically dead.
That's a good point.
Because like the new person is like, this, like,
how do I
do
anything?
You would feel like a stranger has lived all the first part of your life if you lost all your memory.
Yeah, and you're like a baby again, or something along those lines.
Or you just like so it would be along those lines. Like you would get a person on the other side, but is this person
the exact same?
You? It wouldn't be if you're not transferring their
actual
their consciousness.
Mm.
Yeah, and if you could
technically, even if you could transfer the consciousness, you're still making new atoms.
Yeah.
And so it's like it isn't the same person. Everyone would have to just deal with the fact that it's a new person, but with the consciousness
physically, yeah. It's a new physical body.
But then at that point, why aren't we just getting rid of people who like getting rid of you on the one side, and if you before you leave you say, "Oh, could you take a couple pounds off me?" And on the other side they're recreating you fitter.
You can do that.
At that point, it's like if we could recreate someone, like we'd just make like the perfect kind of like hyper fit race.
If that technology ever comes about, I bet it'll be like there's a movie with I can't.
Captain America.
No. I can't think. Okay, never mind. But it would be like rich people had access to it. I bet rich people were like super handsome and super fit because they would have access to it, but it'd be super expensive. I bet. Yeah. You could look however you wanted to look. Yeah, it'd be like just like picking an avatar on a VR chat.
Yeah, and but this is crazy that we've gone from like teleportation to like
VR chat.
Well, yes, but also like you could just make organs. If you can make atoms, you can save everyone. Anyone who has cancer, anyone who has any sort of issue with their body, you just recreate that body part and fix it.
Just bring in like who's like a perfect person.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
What's weird is that I was just thinking about it. Yeah, bring in Arnold Schwarzenegger, and if somebody needs like if somebody lost like a kidney, just copy Arnold Schwarzenegger's kidney and put it inside.
Kidney.
Copy any part of his body.
Oh, I mean,
you know what I mean?
Go anyway.
Bring in,
dude, that would change everything.
Bring in, I don't know.
And when it's like silly things, like I don't like the fact that I have brown eyes. I would like blue eyes. Very easy thing to
bring
change.
In Frodo.
Well, sorry, not a very easy thing to change.
Bring in Frodo.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Frodo
get his blue eyes.
No, but you just you can change everything, and suddenly what would end up happening is everyone just looks the same. Because all the men end up wanting to look exactly this one way, and all the women want to look a different way. And obviously you'll have individual
Here's
people,
something else, though. Not only that, but here's another weird thing that would happen if this my throat. If this weird form of technology started happening, here's another thing that would happen is if everybody went through these machines and on the other side came out this weird flesh robot that thought it was a real person, but it's not a real person. Yeah. If everybody went through there, eventually maybe all of mankind would become this weird thing that's not actually human and thinks it's human, but it isn't actually conscious, and we would lose human consciousness forever.
Dude, I've just had the craziest idea.
All right, so yeah.
So if generally when you go to a country on like holiday, you go and then you come back again. Yeah. What if you just like freeze your first body or like kill it, right? Or you copy it and then put it to sleep for a month.
And then use it when you come back.
Send your second consciousness to this other country.
Yeah.
And then
not
come
your
back.
Second consciousness.
Like,
your consciousness.
Your consciousness, you insert it into a different body.
Yeah.
Go on holiday.
and then
and
just
then
send
come
it
back into the same body.
And
it would be like exosuits.
Yeah,
like you're just moving into different.
You know what that's like though? That's like Avatar.
Avatar, which one?
Avatar, not
like the Airbender.
No,
or
Avatar.
the blue guys.
Yeah,
I haven't actually seen that movie.
Oh, that's exactly what it is.
Okay.
It's the guys that are trying to infiltrate this alien planet to get this rock, like this whatever kind of stone or whatever
and they
mineral.
insert their consciousness.
They
into
make.
other
I don't know if they
beings.
make them, but I'm pretty sure they make these like fake versions of the aliens that live on this planet and insert the consciousness of all these like American soldiers into these
the
alien
aliens.
bodies, so they can infiltrate their like culture and society and stuff, so they can get the rock. And eventually, the main guy decides that like all the aliens are actually good, and he fights. Like he stays. I think
the Americans.
I think he stays as an alien.
As an alien.
I don't remember though. I don't think he does. Maybe not. Anyways, all right. I think that's teleportation.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't found a conclusion, but I also don't think we're on different.
Are we gonna find a conclusion?
Yeah, we're not actually scientists, but we agree on the fact that it's very complicated. Interesting.
If you would do it the way that people are talking about doing it, it might lead to some weird, some weird like sci-fi stuff.
Yeah.